started. Yes, we are live right now, and that's fine. The stream that you're watching. Yes, that's fine. The stream that you're watching. Okay. Ah, sometimes it's quite hard to read the screen. Let's start. So let me just fix my key. Excalibur. Excalibur. Let me just change the background. How can I change the background? How you interview prep? Good. Let me just check. That again. So this question asked, I've a lot of people asking me this question. If you really want to do interview prep, then buy this book. You will find this book about 400, 300 rupees. You will find everything about an interview. Just go and practice. It will teach you data structures and algorithm. Anything about interview prep. If you're preparing for a tech interview, there are a lot of certain skills that you need to have. For example, communication. For example, problem solving. For example, presence of mind that you have to develop by yourself. But you will develop by doing more and more practice. So the only thing that you have to do right now, buy this book, start following this book. No YouTube tutorial, no videos, just follow this book. Follow the pattern that they taught us. If you follow this, you will be able to solve multiple interview questions. So that's what I'm saying. If you really want to do interview prep, then just go ahead and follow this. Then just go ahead and follow this interview book, cracking the coding interview. You will find this for 300 and 400 rupees over the Amazon. I bought this from Amazon, and this is the best book everyone recommends for preparing for interviews. For tech interview, it's the best one. Yeah. we have cut it a clip. So from now we are going to start a driver series and solve a couple of the data structures question. So are we able to solve or not, I don't know. Okay, let's go. Take you forward. You know what I like about the DSA? DSA won't taught you how to code. DSA will taught you how to think in a programming concept. You know, the most important thing for any programmer is to think and visualize how things actually work next to me. If I'm jumping into a huge repository, I don't need to remember how to write a code. I just have to remember how things actually work if I put this thing in there. So for me, writing code wasn't hard. Understanding the pattern and applying that pattern and getting solution throughout that code was hard, I think. So continue without logging. These are the basic things that I have to do. So I've did it a lot of time, but I'm going to do it again because before starting any language, we have to do a basic data structure, and this is most important. So I'm about to complete this all stuff together right now. So let me just head over to the GitHub, I'll do it for now on an online compiler. Later on, we'll move forward for few compiler as well. Online compiler. If online Java compiler. So the first thing that we have to do, we have already the boilerplate code of hello world, so we don't need to write anything. Let's run, and as you can see, we got here hi there. So it's a big achievement for us. It's pre-built in, but let's move forward. Let's import the scanner. Sorry, my bad. Import Java UT scanner. Okay. So I've imported the scanner. Let's create a scanner instance. P equal to sp dot next sp dot I forget how to write how to get input of character in a Java, but let me hit a try. Next class at. Is it something like this? Let me just hit it try. If I think this might be work. Let's try to print P and let's run a program. It's getting error. I think I might have to remove this one. You know, I was getting error for getting I won't believe that I won't able to get input as a character in a Java. How dumb am I? Okay, let me just see the clips that I clipped from my stream. Video. Where are the videos that I've captured? If I go to the video, yeah, videos are here. Let's watch the recent clip that I've captured from the stream. Next, let me just, let's try to open the screen. It's getting error. This one. I was getting error for getting. I won't believe that I won't able to get input as a character in the Java. How come am I? Literally, how the fuck am I making Java backend engineer? A lot of people ask me this question when I become so confident and how can I speak next to them. So this question I am always a lot of people asking me this question. If you really want to do interview prep, then buy this book. You will find this book about 300 rupees. You will find everything about interview. Just go and practice. It will teach you data structures and algorithm. Anything about interview prep. Also preparing for a tech interview. Yeah, there are a lot of certain skills that you need to have. For example, communication. For example, problem solving. For example, presence of mind that you have to learn by yourself. But okay, let's hit a try to solve. It might be working. I don't know if it is or not. Okay, let's solve one DSA problem. How can I get input? If I put next and directly hit a try to run, I think it might run. Next dot caret I can at index 0. Will it? It is something like that. I don't know. Still, it's not working. I'll figure out. I won't believe that I'm googling for getting input in a Java. What the fuck? So how dumb I was. How to get input in Java? Scanner. I don't have to import a scanner. Not for string. For character. Scanner dot next dot caret. So that's what I did last time. Still though I was getting error. Let's see where the fuck did I put my compiler. So what is the mistake that I made? What? So where am I doing the mistake? Okay. What do you mean? Okay. Scanner next. Okay, I've made one mistake here. So I have to put empty brackets. Now it will work. Definitely. Hey, motherfuckers. I am done. But how I was able to print only one character. So, but still though, okay, let me just let me just try to do this. But it's not a string for cat I in P. Let's try to run this loop. Let's see. Now what will happen? Will it going to print my entire character? But it is causing error. I'm using the what the fuck? Sometimes I feel when I started, when you stop code from one and then you come back and try to write the same line of code, you feel super bad because you learned everything and you have a lot of ambiguity in your head that I've did a lot of stuff, but the moment when you sat down and tried to write a code, that time you feel that okay, I was not enough to write a code. Like right now I'm feeling how dumb am I that I'm not even able to get input in a Java, still though I was thinking and contemplating about became but it's a part of journey. I know every one of you know. Okay, next. Here I'm putting in the exact way if I put a cat. Will it work? Will it work? Let's see. No, this will not only work. So I will change this to and literally next minute. Now this is going to work definitely 101%. If won't, then I might stop coding. Let me enter a number. We can't enter. Okay. Okay. Let's go to this driver series. Switch cases, if else. What are strings and arrays? Switch cases, no switch cases, no loops. So all of these things that I've did before, so I don't need to learn it again. So I can code it once again, but I don't think so. I don't mind. STL that I've learned. One thing that I've learned is STL. What is STL? Let me just go to Google, search about STL. But how many patterns that Strivord literally told you to print? It has more than 15 patterns. He won't even add it in notes of it. View article. Okay. So the first pattern that I have to print is a square star pattern. So let's print that pattern. Square star. You can see here the first pattern that you can see here we are building logical thinking and programming. For that we are printing patterns. The first and easiest pattern that we have to print is this star boxy pattern. So let's print that pattern. Okay, we need to get an int for printing starts. Let's run a loop, and how many times that I have to print. It will start from 0, reach till p when I become less than equal to p I plus plus till though I have to do I plus plus, and again I have to run another loop because I have to print this 5 number of line. I can do it in one line board, like for example like for example like this. Let me just hit a try. And if I did it like this, p into what if this is the I don't believe that it has a 50% of the possibility. It might work, it might won't work. Let's hit a try. Yeah, it won't work because we are not able to multiply here. So we will not able to multiply stars here. So yeah. So we are going to add another loop. It will also start from 0. Less than equal to p. Okay, plus plus. I will print the start for that much time. And then I will change the line. Okay. I just have to change the line, so I don't need to enter anything in that. So that's how we are printing square boxy star pattern. Why my program has been hung. I made a mistake in the easiest problem. Look. So this is going to work. So I have to enter how much number of stars that I have to print. I have to print 5 horizontal stars in 5 lines. So look, we have printed. Let me just, if you look at the code, so what I've did, I've created a loop. In that loop I'm getting one input as a p, and in that input I'm getting from user that how much star that I have to print. So our task is to print this boxy star pattern from user's input. So we are getting input. So we are getting input from the user, and we are running the first loop for the 5 rows, and we are running the second loop for printing. But here I've seen it printed 6 loop because I've added here equal to, and starting from 0. If it is starting from 0, I don't need to add equal to. And now I've run, then you can see, let me just add a 5. You can see 5 rows and 5 columns. Exactly, I've printed the pattern. So this is the first step toward to become learning algorithm and learn how to solve a problem. This is the first step to understand and solve problem solving method. So our task is to print this method. So our task is to print this problem solving pattern. So we are doing the drivers A to Z, and for that it's a beginning. I've did it before, but I've skipped. Now I'm restarting again, and so we have to print this pattern. For printing this pattern, I've written a code and it works. So what we did, and let me just try to explain everything next to you. So I'm getting input from the user, and it's stored it into a p, and I've wrote 2 loops. The first loop is for how much rows that I have to print for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to print the 5 rows, and how much number of stars that I have to print in each row. For here I have to print 5 stars, here I have to print 5 stars. So this is just a beginning for writing and understanding the program. Next pattern that we have to print is a triangle pattern. So let's elaborate, let's try to understand what are we going to do. Okay, so now I have to print a second pattern. So the first that I've completed, if I put a tick, so I'll put a tick on a first pattern, and now we have to complete the second pattern of Reactjs. So let's try to print that pattern. So what I have to do, I have to print triangle pattern. I have to keep row as it is, but I have to decrease the number of star, or I have to increase the number of star. So how are we going to do? So first of all, in the first attempt that I have to print 1 star. In the second attempt I have to print 2 star. So how are we going to do that? I don't want to apply in 3 loops. I have to do it in 2 loops. So the first thing, we are printing star. But we're skipping lines through this. File ln, then what will be happen? No. It will also cause another line. That's what not have to do. I don't need to listen. Okay, instead of that, what I'll do, we have to loop till I and print the number of stars, and this will work. Yes, so we have successfully printed the pattern. So as you can see here, I've solved the second pattern problem. So we are building our logic is thinking. For that we are printing patterns. The first basic thing that we have to do for understanding algorithm is to print a pattern, and that's what we are doing. So this is the second pattern that I have to print, and here's the code that I've wrote. So if you look at here, it's too much basic, but for a beginning, for building the muscle of programming, you have to write this sort of programming code if you want to build a muscle. So the first thing that I have to do, I have to print a triangle pattern. So what I'm doing, my first loop is for number of the row that I have to print. For example, I've entered a 6, so it's going to print a 6 rows. It starts from 0 and it's reached till C. And now inside of this, what I'm doing, I'm running my second loop for printing. So in my second loop, I'm running my second loop for printing stars. So that loop will start from 0 and reach till I. For example, in my first iteration, what I do, my I is 1. So I'm iterating from 0 till 1, and it will reach and it will print number of the stars. So exactly what I'll be doing, we are printing first loop. At first line, I'm going to print first 1 star. At second line, I'm going to print 2 star. At third line, I'm going to print 4 star. So that's how I'm going to print entire this pattern. And here I'm just skipping line, like for example, here we are going to print our star, skip our line, print our star, skip our line. So that's what I'm explaining next to you. So the reason behind I'm explaining next to you is I just have to understand how can I able to convince this problem to an interviewer. For that, I'm explaining this problem statement next to you, and it's quite easy. I know it's super easy. So what are we doing? We are doing driver sheet, and we are at the beginning. I've no updated sheet, update this sheet. I did this shit a lot of time before. So again, I've skipped it before, but I have to restart it again. That's why I'm printing the pattern. It's the basic beginning step to printing the pattern. So we're printing the triangle pattern, and this is what the code that I wrote. In the first line, I'm printing how much number of rows that I have to print, and in the second line, how much number of the star that I have to print in each row. At first row I'm printing for 1 star, at second row I'm printing 2 star, at third row I have to print the third star. This is how exactly we are doing it, and if I would have to explain it more, I will explain it to you. So please do the basics, please solve the basic problem of programming, move forward to the advanced data structure problem. But if you stop doing everything, then just go to the drivers playlist and solve this basic pattern problem, and after that just move forward to the more and more difficult problem of PSA. Yep. So let me just cross verify the clip that I clipped right now. Explaining next to you. So the reason behind I'm explaining next to you is I just have to understand how can I able to convince this problem to an interviewer. For that I'm explaining this problem statement next to you, and it's quite easy. I know it's super easy. So what are we doing? We are doing driver sheet, and we are at the beginning. I've no updated sheet. Updated this sheet. What are we doing? I did this sheet a lot of time before. So again, I've skipped it before, but I've restarted again. That's why I'm printing the pattern. It's the basic beginning step. No, I didn't sound confident in English. I didn't sound confident. Let me just try to see if it's a problem next to you. It's lagging. Let me just put the laptop on a charge, because it has a 10% and it's lagging. Now footage is clear. Let me just try to explain the same problem. Let me just try to explain the same set of problem next to you. So what are we doing? We are understanding the data structure and making ourselves a problem solver. So the goal of today is to understand the basic step of leading towards the problem solver. So the first step that we have to do is to solve this set of patterns. Why do I have to solve these patterns? Because before jumping into a solving data structure problem, we have to understand how the program works underneath. I know I've did it a lot of time before, but for starting from zero again for beginning, I have to do this thing again. So here we are, and let's start. So I have to print this pattern. This is super easy. I'm going to tell you how I can able to print this triangle pattern. For that, just go here's the code that I've wrote. And if you check here, I've imported one scanner, and in that scanner I've created one integer, and I'm taking one input, and I'm running my first loop and I'm running my second loop. So let me just run a code, and then let me just explain how I've printed this pattern. So I entered here. So what I'm doing, I'm printing my first loop. I'm running my first loop for printing my first row. I'm running my second loop for printing my how much number of the star that I have to print in that particular row. So here at first row I'm printing 1 star, and at second row I'm printing 2 star. So I'm getting this this variable and comparing in this loop, and then I'm printing the number of stars. So that's how we're going to print this triangle pattern. And the way that I'm skipping the lines is because of this statement. This print ln was able to help me to skip the line and jump into a next line. So at line number 1 we are printing 1 star, at line number 2 we are printing 2 star, and that's how we are going to print the entire triangle pattern. So let me just clip it. Okay, so here we are, and let's start. So how to print this pattern? This is super easy. I'm going to tell you how I can able to print this triangle pattern. And if you check here, I've imported one scanner, and in that scanner I've created one integer and I'm taking one input, and I'm running my first loop and I'm running my second loop. So let me just run a code and then let me just explain how I've printed this pattern. So I entered here. So what I'm doing, I'm printing my first loop. I'm running my first loop for printing my first row. I'm running my second loop for printing my how much number of the star that I have to print in that particular row. So here at first, no, I was not that much confident. You guys are not going to hook if I put this reel on Instagram. I need to speak much faster. I have to add a good hook. Then you guys will come and see my views and comment on my video, because you don't like the lame video who will speak really much in unrealistic pattern. I was trying to learn how to catch audience because of this Instagram, and it's really good. If you wanted to try, you just go and open your camera and try to record yourself. You will understand a lot of yourself. So you can do that as well. Let me just clip it this one as well. I'll clip it this one as well. So here we are, and let's start. So how to print this pattern? Input, run a code, and then let's doing. I'm printing my first loop. I'm running my first loop for here. You guys are not going to hook if I put this reel on Instagram. I need to speak much faster. I have to add a good hook. Then you guys will come and see my views and comment on my video, because you don't like the lame video who will speak really much in unrealistic pattern. I was trying to learn how to catch audience because of this Instagram, and it's really good. If you wanted to try, you just go and open your camera and try to record yourself. You will understand a lot of yourself. So you can do that as well. So what are we doing right now? We are solving data structure problem, but before that, if I have to jump into a data structure after a long period of time, I'm not going to jump directly to the solving patterns or problem statements. What I do, I come to this driver sheet and solve this basic problem patterns. Because of that, I'm going to understand how the problem solving skills are actually work and how the programming works underneath. So what are we doing? We have to print this pattern. And let's go. I've wrote the code and I've run that code as well. So what we did here, I'll get input through scanner here, and I've run a 2 loop for printing pattern. The first loop is the print, the first loop print how much number of the row that I have to print, and the second loop is print how much stars that I have to print in each number of lines. So at first line we are printing 1 star, at second line we are printing 2 star, at 3 tries we are printing 3 star. So what are we doing? We are iterating from the 0 till input, and we are skipping this line through this statement. So I'm just trying to explain next to you, and I feel why don't I? before learning the data structure, I have to learn how programming work underneath. I know this is super easy. I've did it hundred of times before, but if I have to jump in into a data structure or any problem or any language, then I have to write a lot of code. I have to understand how programming language actually work and how I can able to visualize it into a code. For that, we are solving patterns, and here are the patterns that I'm going to do for today. So these are the pattern. If you want a pattern, if you want this pattern, just go to the takeyouforward.com. It's a driver sheet. You will find it here. And let me just try to explain this few sort of codes. So I have to print this triangle pattern. For that, I'm getting input through a scanner, and that scanner that I imported through utilities. And here I've created one digit, and I'm taking input, and I'm storing into this integer. So what are we doing right now here? I've created one loop. In that loop, we are comparing from 0 till the input. So what are we doing? How much number of lines that I have to print is we are doing through first loop, and at a second loop, how many number of stars that I have to print at that particular line that we are doing. So because of that, we are printing, and what the fuck, I'm about to get a shot. It's opened. What the fuck? मर जाता मैं वहाँ पे I think I have to